Hello everybody, this will be a third update to the Marineland's fish tank combo. This was the 55-gallon combo. I think it was called the Heartland combo. And this is another update because I actually have quite a few changes from the last video I did. It's probably been a couple years at least since the last video, and we have moved again. Crazy enough, we moved back to Kansas. So if you recall, in the very first video I did, I was living in Kansas, and I did an update video on a number 2 after I had moved over to South Carolina, and now I moved back to Kansas again. So I just want to provide another update. If you haven't noticed already from my previous videos, you'll notice that the stand is different, and I'll get into that. And a few other kind of hiccups along the way, so I'll kind of go through it all. First thing I would like to mention, because I always get asked, is how's the tank holding up? You know, any leaks, anything like that? Happy to say no leaks still. Still very solid. Have no issues with that. Now with the stand, unfortunately we did have some issues. Now, I can't say that it's... So it probably was contributed to a few factors that was related to our process of moving, right? So it just happened that the last day that we were moving, the movers had a lot of our stuff outside of the house because we were trying to head out on a timeline. So I told, and it's a little bit my fault, I told the movers, like, hey, we got to go. You know, we don't have a lot of time. I need, a lot of my stuff out of the house so we can clean it up and turn the keys in and get out. And it just happened that, I kid you not, a freaking rainstorm came through. I mean, a heavy storm came through and got a lot of our stuff wet. I don't exactly recall if the fish tank stand was actually outside at the time. But that could have been definitely a major contributing factor, especially because the other situation we ran into was that the house we're in now was not ready to move into yet when we arrived to Kansas. So I had to put my stuff into storage for, about 3 weeks. So a little bit of the moisture and everything like that, I think had actually caused some warpage on the base of the stand. And so it caused the tank stand to be very uneven, right? And I initially tried to use wedges, if you will, the wooden wedges. I forgot the official name of those right now off the top of my head, but basically to try to level it. And then upon further reading, I read that that's a bad idea because you're going to be putting pressure points throughout the stand by you trying to artificially level the tank stand, and those pressure points, if you will, can cause damage to your tank by even, which could lead to leaking and things like that. So I disregarded that. My first thought was I'm just gonna buy another combo. I'll just, because I think at the time, they weren't as cheap as what I got the combo at the originally, but I think they were going for like $200. And I was like, well, I'll just buy the combo again. I'll have an extra tank and I'll have a stand. But then on further reflection on it, I decided to upgrade to a more sturdier stand because I figured, well, we do move a lot and I don't want to run into this situation again. So I want something that has a little bit more real wood in it than your, I don't know exactly what it was made of, probably, kind of like a type of particle board or something, right? I will say that I think the stand would have been perfectly fine had we not moved, because it was working just fine up till then. I think it was just the circumstances, unfortunately, that led to that. But it's worth noting because if you are somebody that does move a lot, or you might be somewhere where you do have a lot of moisture, you have uneven floors, anything that, I think that stand would be more susceptible to damage or warpage like mine did than something that's solid wood. So I ended up getting this tank stand right here. Ended up being $250 for the tank stand itself, but it's a lot more sturdy. Designed a little bit different. As you can see, so like on this one, as opposed to the other one, this one has a solid base on the very bottom. So I actually still have the other tank stand, so I'll show you in a moment here. But the points of contact on the bottom of the Heartland tank stand is only around the perimeter of the tank stand. Whereas this one has a bottom solid piece board here that it sits on, so it has a more flush bottom, if that makes any sense. The other difference is it's kind of in reverse for the top. So the Heartland tank stand had what, you know, a one piece solid piece on top that the tank stand would go on or rest on or be supported by. But on this one, it's actually, and sorry if you don't see that very good, it's poor lighting, but you can see kind of right there, there's nothing here. It's only supported on the top by the perimeter, and then there's 3 support beams. They are solid wood, and there's 3 support beams that evenly distribute that load on the tank. And I mean, I have had no issues with that whatsoever. I think this tank stand here, which is a Marineland, I'm trying to remember the model of it. I'll put in the description. Unfortunately, I didn't think about actually looking it up again. It's been a few months since I've gotten the tank stand, so. But yeah, I think that if you do have circumstances that you think that could be similar to what I described, you might look into spending a little bit more money on a better tank stand. Otherwise, everything else has been good. The movers did actually break the tank lids because it is glass. It's not like clear plastic. It's actual glass, and let's just say the movers did a really poor job of packing our belongings, and they literally put weights and random stuff into the box, and it shattered in the box on the move. So anyway, what I found out was that Marineland does not have a direct replacement for the lids, unfortunately. And I'll put a link to what I got, which you can buy at Petsmart, and it is a direct fit, and it's pretty much exactly the exact same type of lid, just a little bit different style on the knobs here, but other than that, identical. And I think it was about $17 for one. You have to get 2 because it's split in half here. So it's not necessarily cheap, but it's also doable if it does happen to you, and there is a solution to be able to replace it. Here, let me go to the original tank stand, and then I'll get back and kind of show you what I was talking about. So I've been using it just as for part of my storage, but so this is kind of what I was talking about before, if you recall. So yeah, it does have a solid flat bottom here, but the actual weight distribution that it holds on is, you can see here, just around the sides. And it's not even around the full front. It's not even in the front. It's only on the sides and the back that you have that point of contact on the tank stand. And you can see in the back where I was talking about where it was warped, unfortunately. And when we first got here, I thought it was actually due to uneven floors, because if you looked just a minute ago, and I'll go back into the room, it's tiled. So the floor itself is already uneven, which is why I had the large board there on the bottom to help distribute the unevenness of the floor. But yeah, and then of course you have the top part right here, like I mentioned, that just sits on top. Again, I think it's a good stand, especially for the price. I mean, it does. I mean, it does its purpose. But I think that if you're in an environment that's a little bit more extreme, not a dry environment, or you really have issues with maybe a uneven floor plan, you might look into getting something different. So, other than that, you can tell that we also changed our substrate. We end up getting what's called black diamond sandblasting material. So, one, we just wanted to change it up. Two, we wanted to find something as well that was a little bit better on the bellies of softer bottom-dwelling fish, such as loaches. And so that's kind of what made us look into alternative substrates. And it seems like the black diamond sandblast material is a very popular choice among other users that have loaches. And I have to say, it works great. I actually really like it. And I can show you because I had an extra bag. I actually got one bag more than I needed. But this is what it is here. It's a black diamond abrasive. And you can get it usually at like a Tractor Supply store. I think even if you have, I'm trying to think what it's called. Was it True Value? I think maybe True Value or Walters. Even I think Home Depot may. I don't know for certain. But usually if you find some kind of Tractor Supply or even Home Depot, I want to say it was Home Depot that I read that even has the sandblasting products. And I mean, it's you want to get the, if you do go this route, you want to get the not the fine, because they actually mark it based off of the fineness, if you will, of the material. So here it kind of marks the middle 3, but typically people will go with the 2040, and if you go higher, it's more finer. I believe the lower, the more larger, rougher it is. And you typically kind of want in the middle. The reason you don't want to go too fine, which isn't that you can't, but if you go really fine, then it's more maintenance because it's a little bit more difficult to control the, if you will, the ploof, the cloud that sand can make when you disturb it. And what people like about this sandblasting material in that grade, if you will, is that it does really well with controlling the effects of that. Let's see if I can show you. Excuse me here. So if you do it, it actually, that's probably there we go. It actually falls pretty quickly. It doesn't, oh, there he is, nibbling my hand. It actually falls pretty quickly, which helps prevent that dusty side effect you get when with like regular sand. With regular sand. Typically, if you've seen videos or if you have it yourself, you'll know what I'm talking about. A fish goes by and swims towards the bottom, or like somebody's kind of trying to just move things around, whether it's cleaning their tank or whatever the case is, and it makes the whole tank cloudy. And this substrate does a really good job of controlling that. Let's see, what else? The other thing, you'll notice that we have a few different fish. We got the 2 Siamese algae eaters there that you're looking at now. We also have 2 golden dojo loaches, which we had one of. So I wish I had the other one still. It got insanely huge. I had one Golden Dojo Loach that was probably at least 12 inches and like just thick as heck. Like, I was very impressed with how huge this Loach got, and I think it was just because he was just an aggressive eater, and he just ate everything in his path. And I mean, he was just so big. I don't know if any of you guys had any Golden Dojo Loaches get that big. From what I've read, they typically don't get anywhere near that size. They kind of stick around kind of the size that you're looking at, which is still, I mean, they can still get pretty large, but not that large. And then we also have 2 Hillstream Loaches. And I don't know if you can see if I can find the one. Where'd he go? He's not popping out. They usually like to hide behind my heater, and it's not always easy to find them. But anyway, that's our new tank setup right now. That's part of the reason why we got the smooth rocks in the corner, was to kind of help provide a little bit of the decor to the Hillstream Loaches. Anyway, that's everything I got. I just want to provide another update because, you know, I felt that I at least owed you that update since I did have the issue with the stand. And I thought that was worthwhile to be able to provide that insight. Since I have had 2 videos saying, you know, obviously that there's no issues whatsoever. So now that I did run into an issue, I want to at least make you guys aware of that. If you do already have the stand, I mean, by all means, I don't think you necessarily need to worry about it if you're not having issues, you know, with it currently. You know, like I said, I don't think I would have had any issues if we did not move. And so if you do have it, I mean, and it's working, that's great. I don't think that there's anything necessarily like integrally wrong with the stand that you'd have to worry about it necessarily. But if you are, you know, shopping for the a larger tank setup, and you think you might be in a situation that might, you know, require a more sturdy tank stand, then that might be something to consider, which is unfortunate because the tank combo, like I said, is a great value. I still promote it. Well, I still support it anyway, if that, not like professionally or anything, but I do still think that it's a good combo for the price. I think it, you know, the tank stand I've had, or the tank itself, the aquarium, I've had no issues whatsoever. And I think for 90% of the people out there, it probably will work just fine. I think, again, it was just an unfortunate circumstance that I found myself in that led to the demise of my tank stand. Otherwise, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to help explain better. And I'll see you till next time. Thank you.